I listen up, man, because I'm about to keep it 100 with y'all like I'm goddamn Benjamin Franklin. Once you have a spiritual awakening, there is no going back, my boy. And let me say that again for the people in the back. Listen up. Once you have a spiritual awakening experience, there is no going back. And you might be wondering, okay, man, what is a spiritual awakening experience? What is there no going back to? Am I fucked? Well, relax. Relax, relax, my guy. Because it's time for your boy to break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, what even is a spiritual awakening experience? Well, I have a whole video on this channel, in specific, the second channel, What the Fulati, talking about the differences between a spiritual awakening and self-realization. But today, we're only talking about a spiritual awakening experience. And what that is taking the barriers off what you previously thought was your being, aka you only thought that this body, that the flesh and bones is all that you're composed of. That is what the general norm of society thinks. The masses of the Matrix, the Maya illusion thinks. That there's nothing beyond just the material world. That there's nothing more to you than just your flesh and bones. But a spiritual awakening experience is what allows you to not understand but understand that there is a deeper aspect to your being. It awakens you to that. You've been sleeping this entire time. That's why they call it a spiritual awakening. Now you finally wake up. It's the start of your spiritual journey. Now, can you be spiritual beforehand? Yes, obviously. And I don't even like to use that term. Were you spiritual before? Are you spiritual after? You're spiritual regardless whether you know it or not. The awakening is when you finally know it. And it's not a knowledge that can be found just by reading texts, just by listening to videos. It's a knowledge, aka gnosis, that can only be accessed from your own inner experience. So if you have not had a spiritual awakening experience yet, maybe you have had one, but it wasn't as intense as maybe some people online make it seem like it was for you. Until you've had that experience, you can be theorizing about what the spiritual plane is, what is a soul and all that stuff, but never actually experiencing it firsthand for yourself. So, is there a way for you to induce a spiritual awakening experience? I don't believe so. If it's for you, it'll happen naturally. Maybe it'll happen through psychedelics. Maybe it'll happen through a traumatic event. Maybe it'll happen through a meditative experience. Who knows? I'm not here to tell you how to have a spiritual awakening experience. I'm here to tell you that this is a one-way ticket. There are no U-turns once you have it. And you might have planned to have a spiritual awakening experience, and some of you guys may have not planned for that. And that's just the nature of reality. That was a part of your path, a part of your plan, a part of your mission, your purpose, your duty as a soul, aka your dharma, to have this experience and actually go beyond what the masses, what the Matrix, what the Maya, what the illusion is trying to tell you that you are. Just a flesh and bones. Just a body and brain. When you have that spiritual awakening experience that peels off that persona, this feels like a costume now, feels like an avatar now, feels like a character that you're using for the time being, because in that spiritual awakening experience, you've tasted what the soul and spirit really is. You finally connected with it. You finally awakened it. And that allows you to understand and understand that this body and brain are just tools for a much bigger driver of the vehicle. I always make this analogy that the body is like the car, the mind is a steering wheel, but the one who is supposed to be driving it is not supposed to be the senses, it's not supposed to be the programming of what society tells you, it's supposed to be your soul, your spirit. On a spiritual awakening experience, you actually feel that. You feel like you're in the driver's seat finally. The soul, you can actually taste it. You can actually experience it. you can actually tangibly, even though it doesn't even make sense, tangibly like control it. Are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? This is why you can't go back. You cannot go back. You cannot U-turn. You cannot be like, hey bro, I'm done. No. I want to close up that box and forget about it. This is why in the Matrix, the red pill and the blue pill is really a spiritual awakening experience or just being in an ignorant state of bliss. Knowledge is power, but ignorance is bliss. What do you want, Neo? I'm asking you. I'm Morpheus right now. Which one do you want? Because if you take that red pill, there ain't no going back to your old ways. There ain't no going back to just your regular life. And I'm not saying when you have a spiritual awakening experience now you become like you're a fucking Neo in the Matrix fighting all that shit. No, but you actually start understanding that that stuff is actually happening on a deeper essence of reality. And it makes you want to further connect to that source that you did during the experience and make it your day-to-day experience rather than a couple hours, rather than a flash in the pan. That's what leads you onto the spiritual journey towards self-realization, which is only done through the path of self-mastery. This spiritual awakening experience is just step one. It is finally waking up. The coach finally put you in the fucking game. Is that the end goal of the spiritual journey? Just get in the game? Is that the end goal of you as a basketball player, just to get in the game? Finally, coach put you in the game. Now I'm trying to drop 40, 50, 60, 70, 81 like I'm Kobe. And that process of you scoring points, like in a basketball game, is the ascending path of self-mastery to get back to that transcendental point of realizing who and what you are beyond the limitations of the brain and body, beyond the limitations of the ego, beyond the limitations of what this society has put on top of your psyche. God damn, we spin out here. We're dropping game, we're dropping sauce. And that whole journey of self-mastery is a part of the process for you to actually become who you were always meant to be. Because in order for you to actually embody that, you need to peel back the layers, just like an onion. An onion has a bunch of layers, but you need to get to the core so that those layers are like your persona, your ego, your attachments, all that shit needs to be peeled away piece by piece in order for you to actually become who you are by actually getting to your core, by actually connecting to that core. That first layer to be peeled is through your spiritual awakening experience. And that first layer is realizing that this reality is not all that it's made out to be. And even on scientific terms, you can only see 2% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light. So you're gonna tell me 98% of it we can't even fucking see, and you're saying that this is all there is? You see how nonsensical it is when it comes to spirituality and science combining to say the same thing? That's why you cannot go back anymore. You cannot go back. It's like when you build up a certain amount of muscle in your body, no matter how hard you try to really just, unless you go completely off the rails, don't even eat food or anything like that, it's very hard for you to lose that base layer foundation of the muscle you built. That spiritual awakening process is the base layer of the consciousness that you've built. A consciousness that has gone beyond the lower levels, the lower three chakras I always talk about, the lower three states of existence, aka only thinking about survival, sex, and status, which is what? Correlated to just the physical body. When you have that spiritual awakening experience, you go to the higher faculties, the higher planes of consciousness. Once you've tasted it and you've realized that, you open up a new part of the map that cannot be constricted back again. It cannot. Even though you might be like, bro, I feel like I'm having psychotic breakdowns, this and that. I already have a video on this channel talking about how spiritual awakening experience is a psychotic breakdown. There is no difference between the two. One is more controlled, and one that can actually be used for your advancement and evolution in life, while a psychotic breakdown just makes you crash out. It's not because you've become crazy, it's because your view of reality beforehand was so false, was such a facade, and you finally see it for what it is, that it's hard for you to even conceptualize how the fuck was I living in a state of just pure retardation, if you want to call it that, spiritual retardation, all this time. How did I think that my goals in life were only about survival, sex, and status? How did I not realize that I was brought here for a bigger purpose? Then that ignites you on your own spiritual journey, aka the path of self-mastery, which leads to self-realization, which is connected to the highest chakra point, your crown chakra, which leads you to be in a state of complete bliss, knowing that you have connected your consciousness back to the divine. That's the whole process that gets kickstarted by the spiritual awakening experience. And that path of self-mastery revolves around everything that we talk about on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community. Man, shout out to the fucking private Patreon community. Listen, my guy, listen. Listen. Are you listening? No, seriously. I'm talking to you. Are you listening? If you actually can connect, correlate, and grasp these types of concepts, and you have not joined up into the private Patreon community, go take a look at the mirror. Because you are doing that guy, yourself, a huge motherfucking disfavor. Not me, that guy in the mirror, yourself. Because within there, we are truly unpacking, going much more in depth and in detail through this whole esoteric science of self-mastery, about elevating the mind, about elevating the body, about elevating your soul, unlocking the mind, purifying the body, awakening the soul. So if you've had a spiritual awakening experience and you want to go transcend back up that mountain again to that point of self-realization that you might have tasted for a little second, this is what this whole path of self-mastery is about. And this is what we're breaking down, of course, here on this channel, on the main channel, but even more in depth and more in detail within the exclusive videos that we're dropping on the private Patreon community. And along with that, the full guides that we got over there, the in-depth occult lectures that we got going on over there. And if you tap into the Philosopher's Circle, aka the highest membership tier group within the private Patreon community, you'll get access to our private group chat, where we host our bi-weekly mastermind live calls. Yes, sir, 2 live calls each and every single month, bi-weekly. Come on now, are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? Where you hop on a call with me, as well as a community of like-minded men discussing all these different types of topics who are also on the same journey of self-mastery, just like yourself. You're building your tribe. You're around a community who wants to see you elevate because they want to see themselves elevate, holding you accountable to that point. If you're ready to take that step in the right direction, ready to further accelerate your progress on this ascending path, this rising path, this right-hand path of self-mastery, then this place is for you. The Philosopher's Circle is for you, my boy. Check out the links posted in the pinned comment of this video, because within there, you'll also be able to find our other links to our other services, whether that be application forms for my personalized coaching program, if you want to work with me directly one-on-one to help you detach from the degenerate, nonsensical bullshit that is pulling you away from actually ascending to that point of actually finding who you are and what you were brought here to do, aka discover your Dharma. Whether that's you just want to hop onto a one-on-one consultation call, discuss your situation, see how we can further elevate you on all planes of existence, whether that's your mind, body, or soul. We got a free community Discord server, weekly newsletters, all that good stuff. Again, post in the pinned comment of this video. Make sure you go run it up. But like I was saying, for the people that are watching this channel, watching the main channel, in the private Patreon community, all the stuff that we're talking about there, the stuff that I talk about with my one-on-one coaching clients, on the consultation calls, this is helping you actually take the information, take the knowledge, take the gnosis that you gain from your spiritual awakening experience and actually apply it back into your life so you can transcend up that point. When you have a spiritual awakening experience, it's like you finally wake up at the base of the mountain. What your internal spirit is pulling you towards is the top, the peak, the pinnacle of that mountain, the apex. But it is not going to be able to do that unless first it realizes there's no going back to the old mountains. There's no going back to the old city that you lived in. You've crossed it out. You've burnt that bridge. But also realizing that you're holding all this dead weight. You're wearing a weighted vest. You're wearing ankle weights. And you're trying to trek up this mountain. It's going to be very fucking difficult. The path of self-mastery is renouncing all the nonsensical shit that you once thought before your spiritual awakening experience was going to bring you true fulfillment and joy in your life, in order to actually let go of all the baggage, let go of all the bullshit, so you feel lighter and actually can ascend to the true point of fulfillment in life. That's what happens when you take the spiritual awakening experience seriously and actually follow your spiritual path. You need to renounce the bullshit in order for you to actually ascend and realize the good shit that makes any sense. The spiritual awakening experience forces you to realize there is no going back. But some people want to force it themselves, their consciousness, to go back into their old ways. It's going to be a very hectic situation. It's like trying to tell somebody who just had a 5-star meal, be like, hey bro, you gotta eat McDonald's still. No bro, you've tasted Bellissimoso food, Delicioso food. You wanna keep having it. But you're saying, oh man, no, I'm just gonna revert back to my old diet, bullshit, this and that. A person who's lost a lot of weight or who's gained a lot of muscle, they want to stay in shape. They don't want to go back to the old ways. But the spiritual path is a little bit different because it makes you face your fears. It makes you face the facade. It makes you face life for what it is. And this is something that a lot of people will buckle under. They will fold under. But for the people that are especially watching this channel, in specific, I said this so many times, the second channel, What the Floody, where we're out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping all our games so you ain't out here, my bad, looking like a motherfucking lame. Straight up off the dome, no cuts, no edits. We just spitting bars off the rip. You guys are more psychologically and spiritually matured than the masses. Am I saying that you're better than anybody? Absolutely not. Am I saying that you're a chosen one? Absolutely not. Am I saying any of that nonsense that you see on the New Age spiritual movement? Absolutely not. But you have been blessed maybe through past lives, maybe through other esoteric ideas, to be able to actually grasp these types of concepts. Not only be able to listen to a video for this long, but actually grasp what the fuck I'm saying. You cannot lose that and abuse that on nonsensical pursuits in life. You need to actually use the God-given gifts that you were given to by the Supreme Source to be able to actually break free from the bondages of the Maya, of the Matrix, of the illusion. There's a reason why you probably had a spiritual awakening experience. There's a reason why you're watching this video. There's a reason why you feel an internal pull to actually see what life has to offer beyond just the limitations of the physical body, the material world, even the mental plane. You cannot waste that. You need to actually take that spiritual awakening experience seriously. You are going psychotic, but everybody else around you was already fucking whacked out clowns. We're living in clown world. So when you're so used to clown world and you finally get to the real world, you're gonna think that that's clown world. But I'm sorry, bro, the door back to clown world has closed. What are you gonna do about it now? Cry about it? Whine about it? No, you gotta embrace it. And this is why the spiritual awakening experience is so profound. I don't care how it happened to you, what happened in specific, but it's so profound due to the fact that it's going to be the closing of one chapter and the start of a new book. This is why they call this, again, the spiritual awakening experience. You finally wake up. You finally jolt out of your bed. You've thought that you were living life this entire time. Well, now you realize that was just a facade. That was a dream. Welcome to reality. Welcome to the real world, motherfucker. And some people, again, can't handle that. They crash out, they burn out. That's totally fine. But for you, that's not what's gonna happen. Because you've got the sauce, you've got the game, you've got the understanding to actually understand what I am saying. And actually apply it into your life. Don't spiritually masturbate to this or mentally masturbate to this. Stop thinking about philosophical ideas and all that stuff. What is holding you back from actually attaining that state of self-realization? It's different from everybody. It might be pornography. It might be junk food. It might be this. It might be that. But the Maya, the Matrix, the illusion has all put these different traps, and overall tricks in the way from you actually being able to dissolve your karmas and discover your dharma. A spiritual awakening makes you realize that that is an option. That's there. But it doesn't do the work for you. That's the path of self-mastery, which leads to the attainment of self-realization. You can't expect to take fucking 5 grams of mushrooms and become enlightened. You can't expect yourself to smoke some DMT and become enlightened. You can't expect yourself to go to a 10-day Vipassana retreat and become enlightened. This is a path towards enlightenment. Enlightenment is an overall process that leads to transcendence or self-realization. That's the end destination. It's always been there though, funny enough. Your state of enlightenment has always been there. The core of the onion has always been there, right? But it's hidden by layers. You need to peel off the layer piece by piece by piece by piece through this process of self-mastery, through the practices that we talk about here on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community, with the people I'm working with one-on-one. That's how you can actually make sense of the spiritual awakening. Not just let it be a cool, just random experience that you had. Because I'm telling you, man, you had it for a reason. And if you try to fight against it and go back to your old ways, life, the universe, whatever you want to call it, God will make you pay for it. Because it's trying to put you on your right path, your righteous path, your dharma. And you're trying to go against it, be like, no, I'm good. Ignorance is bliss. I just want to be watching Netflix with all my friends and doing this and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, bro. That wasn't for you. Sorry. I'm totally sorry about that. But that's not for you. I got something better for you if you're willing to work for it. But you have to give up this bullshit. You have to sacrifice the nonsense. Are you willing to do that? This is what the universe is telling you after your spiritual awakening experience. You cannot go back. So if you can't go back, better make good use of this experience that you've had. Better get on this path of self-mastery. Better get on this journey towards self-realization. Or you're going to feel stuck in the mud and feel like you have psychosis. Which one do you want, bro? Which one do you want? It's like if you go to McDonald's, they don't have the ice cream no more. Sorry, bro, that's not an option anymore. Do you want the fucking cookie or do you want fucking nothing? Which one? Okay, well, relax. I don't want you to even go to McDonald's, okay? Let's just make that clear. But are you picking up what I'm putting down? I just got to use that analogy. The ice cream machine is not working, bro. Sorry. What do you want me to do? That door is closed to your old self. Sorry, bro. What do you want me to do? The key has been chucked off a cliff. This was all part of your path. What do you want to do with it? Sit in the mud? Cry about it? Whine about it? Or are you actually going to take this and embrace it on your own enlightening path towards self-realization? It ain't easy, but it's worth it. It ain't something that's going to happen overnight, but it's something that's worth pursuing your entire life for. Because once you have a spiritual awakening experience, bro, there's nothing materially that's going to make you fulfilled. That's the one thing that it rips away from you. People can be, I don't even think fulfilled, but let's say an NPC, the masses, whatever. They can be happy living a life of, they have enough money to survive, they can eat some junk food, watch the pornography, have a wife, have kids, survival, sex, and status, have a car, all that stuff. That's good enough for them. They don't seek any deeper. That's why the Maya, the Matrix, the illusion wants to keep you stuck in that. But it is not up to the Maya, the Matrix, the illusion, the material world to actually dictate who gets the spiritual awakening experience and who do they deter away from it. They want to deter everybody away from it. But if it's a part of your path, a part of your dharma, which it is for you, you wouldn't be watching this video for this long. The Maya, the Matrix, the illusion, nothing could ever stop that from happening. But at that point, it's up to you to actually make it manifest tenfold, 100-fold on this path of self-mastery, self-realization. But like I was saying, once you have that plug ripped out, that cord ripped out of being a slave to your senses, or not even a slave to your senses, because that's the path of self-mastery, but the spiritual awakening experience, once that cord is unplugged and pulled out of the socket of thinking that all you are is a mind and body, that it can't go back. It can't go back. It cannot go back. And you'll never be fulfilled just by living the regular average life. I'm not saying you got to be a millionaire, trillionaire, get out of the matrix, top G bullshit. No, you have a innate dharma, a purpose you were brought here to do, because you understand that this body is temporary, that this mind is temporary, and you're just here for the time being. But you were brought here for a specific reason. You incarnated into this form for a specific reason, with this specific body, with this specific psyche, with this specific set of circumstances, for a much deeper reason that is beyond you. Your job now, after your spiritual awakening, is to unravel what that is, and after you've unraveled what that is, manifest it. Make it happen. No amount of cars, clothes, hoes, this and that is going to make you feel fulfilled anymore after you've had the spiritual awakening. Sorry. I'm not saying don't have a nice car. I'm not saying don't have nice clothes. I'm not saying don't have a beautiful wife. But what I'm saying is most people pedestalize that at the top of their pursuits above all else if they've not actually awakened themselves to the spiritual realm of reality. That might be good enough. That might suffice. But for you, sorry, it ain't going to be enough anymore. You got to search deeper. You got to look and seek further within yourself than the general norm of humanity, humankind. Is that a blessing? Maybe. Is that a curse? Maybe. You're the one that writes the script for that. Is it a blessing for you, or you can make it a curse for you? The ice cream machine ain't working. Do you want the blessing, the cookie, or do you want to make it drive home sad, nothing in your drive-through experience? Hungry. Now it's a curse. You see what I'm saying? That's not going to be enough for you. That's not going to suffice for you. These lower level desires, these lower level pleasures, they might still have you in bondage, put you in a chokehold, but you realize that this isn't going to be fulfilling enough for you in life. For the people that haven't had that experience, they're suffocated by the lower level desires and lower level pleasures, and they don't ever think that there's anything beyond it. They don't even realize that they're in a chokehold. They're the guy who's in the chokehold, who's unconscious, who's just literally not there anymore. The spiritual awakening experience is, oh shit, I'm getting choked the fuck out. Like, bro, what the hell? And the path of self-mastery is getting that fucking arm off you, getting out of that chokehold, and winning the battle versus your lower senses, your lower desires, your lower nature that this whole world, this mind, this matrix, this illusion wants you to be subordinate to. It wants you to be a slave to. It wants you to be a compulsive, impulsive animal. I'm not saying animals are bad. Absolutely not. I love animals. But you, as a human being, you have a choice to either fall into the depths of despair that only allows you to be close to the animal kingdom, but you also have the same choice to actually get closer and closer to the transcendent point of your spirit. the spiritual awakening experience is making you realize that you are the animal, but you are the animal that can actually ascend to the spirit. Without that spiritual awakening experience, most people don't even realize that they have a higher essence, a higher level to tap into, and only think that they're just an animal. A fucking monkey walking around with a goddamn iPhone. That's the general population. A slave to their lower senses. Never looking beyond all that shit. But a spiritual awakening experience makes you look beyond it. And once you see beyond it, once you open up Pandora's box, sorry, bro, it ain't going back. So what are you going to do about it? What the fuck are you going to do about it? Remain in this limbo state where you know you have a higher potential, a higher essence, and a higher purpose, yet you have to give up these animalistic kind of impulses that pull you away from actually tapping into that. Always in the middle of that, knowing you can actually tap into higher essence, but not being able to actually make it happen? Or are you going to make it happen through the practices, through the path of self-mastery, which attains self-realization, that point that you know you can tap into? Realize, know, they're the same kind of fucking words. Come on, dog. Come on now. Some real deal game, real deal sauce. Once you've had that spiritual awakening experience, there ain't no going back. It's the red pill of the matrix. You pop that in. Sorry, bro. You ain't gonna wake up in your bed thinking about, oh, what am I gonna do today? This and that, blah, blah, blah. No, now you're thinking about, holy shit, bro, like, this is just all an illusion, the matrix, the fucking Brahman, all that stuff. Yeah, you might be in psychosis, but once that settles down, you can piece the puzzle up together that leads you to your path of fulfillment. That no amount of money, no amount of cars, no amount of clothes, no amount of hoes, no amount of material possessions could ever suffice, could ever reproduce, could ever replace. That's the ultimate jewel of life. And when you've had this spiritual awakening experience, you are blessed enough to be able to realize that there is that ultimate jewel of life. And you've also been blessed with the ability to actually attain it. It's up to you. Do you want it or not? Do you want it or not, my boy? It's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. I'm out of here. Peace.